We are charged with great responsibility, and we take it seriously. Beloved Creator, we challenge others in high positions to do the same when they fail to question or acknowledge the damage their decisions and actions have done and are doing to so many who blindly trust and entrust their very lives to them. We do it for our children, and we do it for all the children. We stand firm in support of the people. We stand firm in our faith that goodness and truth will prevail. And we speak out and we shine our light and our love in the name of all that is good and righteous. Let it be so. And so it is.
Thank you, Charlie. Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. Let's suppose every hierarchy we have ever been in, we rose to the top, which is an area of mindset. Being number 1 or number 10 in a field of 300 salespeople is the same. Put it on the bell curve. Then do it for 8 consecutive years. Now you're getting a pretty good run. Then let's take a U.S. Navy GTC, General Intelligence Test, and find that the score is where the top of all recruits tested are located. When one takes the test and scores 100, one moves on. And if one passes the same test with a 62.5, they also move on. Now we place several people into a social compact that have all risen to the top of several hierarchies. If I am in that hierarchy, I'm the little old white man talking head for a very strong hierarchy. Sui juris is the title of the hierarchy. All my friends and associates, fellows, comrades, and peers are men and women with their progeny in a de jure jurisdiction venue law form with status and standing of original jurisdiction. I have been, I was, I am told by 2 former sheriffs that the sheriffs and the deputies are too ignorant to comprehend the complications of the situation. That was rewarding. The reality is of a de facto United States of Washington District of Columbia, Inc., operating an illegal and illegitimate enterprise with the state of Oregon being a subdivision. They are engaged in a several level chess competition of good and evil and life and death endeavors. Our 36 sheriffs, as an example, are without a lawful oath to the lawful Constitution circa 1859, with God included. That needs to be remedied. How about the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, semicolon, Confederation and Perpetual Unions, apostrophe S article, styled the United States of America's Constitution circa 1859. That is as close to accurate as I can get. This is original jurisdiction. I typed that out and dropped it in chat. You can show it on the screen if you want. So to have unbroken provenance, an unbroken chain of custody, de jure, we must reconstitute the actual de jure 33 or a quorum of the several states with their proper bona fides, including South Carolina. They have to rescind their secession. There has been color of law from December 24th, 1860, when South Carolina broke the perpetual union and seceded, which they had every right to do. We have been deficient in our most basic principle of who we are. This was exacerbated by sine die, March 1861, then Executive Order 100 Lieber Code. It was a benevolent martial law, last updated by the U.S. Army in 2018. The benevolent morphed into malevolent recently, which is nullified by Ex parte Milligan, our civilian court of record, a grand jury pool that has provided this many lawful grand juries on Oregon. And we've done that in the last 5 years. And that has produced presentments. The grand jury hears it and makes a decision. Is there a true bill or is there no bill? Or do we investigate more? And the grand jury decided that there was 5 true bills, and those went to our Articles 3, Amendment 7, Civilian Court of Record in the de jure, and the presentments. I got it all written down. Let me just read it. And that produced presentments to the de facto and true bills to the de jure. 38 prosecutors on Oregon and 5, that many, Article 3, Amendment 7, Civilian Court of Record verdicts, whose jury has no appeal in fact, and that's published on www.orsja.org. There were 93 persons of the state of Oregon de facto incorporated subdivision of the United States of Washington District of Columbia, Inc., that were convicted as oath breakers, without honor, and unfit for a position of trust. That was one governor, Kate Brown, 2 senators, Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley, 1 House Rep, Suzanne Bonamici, and 89 Oregon State of Oregon, all caps State of Oregon legislators, all with an oath. The entire judiciary were and are lawfully removed as of November 2022. All of them illegitimate, illegal, de facto. Grand jury heard it. Presentments made. There are 36 sheriffs without a proper oath to the proper constitutions, with God included, as of December 2nd, 2023, and 38 prosecutors. That's a DA from every county, the Attorney General for Oregon, which is probably State of Oregon, and the JAG from the National Guard. Nicholas is his name. So those prosecutors on Oregon received 3,534 grand jury presentments in the last 5 years. and 3,534 verdicts from our Article 3, Amendment 7 Civilian Court of Record with docket numbers, and we have had no response. It seems to me that our start last week with the Marion County Sheriff, a new sheriff, to have his oath and bond, his bona fides, his fulfillment of the requirements of his job constitutionally and administratively, that has to be done properly. He'll either comply or he won't comply, and that was started. Posted on the public bulletin board. They took it down once, then we had a little talk, and they put it back up again. Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you, Brandon. So we started it with Marion County last week, from top to bottom. They were all served. Then we're going to go to Bend tomorrow. The Oregon State Sheriff's Association is having their annual meeting in Bend. All the purveyors and providers and supporters of the Oregon Sheriff's Association will be there. We'll be there tomorrow, opening day. Purchase our sponsorship and join the association, and our marshal will purchase membership in the law enforcement for the Oregon Sheriff statewide. We're all going to be one together with proper oaths and proper bonds. I have something here that I want to add. I send sheriffs emails frequently. We have a lot of things to discuss with them. And out of the 36 sheriffs, there's 1, 2, 3 that have decided that they do not need to hear petitions for redress of grievance from the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, so they block us. And it's Jeff Van Arsdale of the Benton County, and it's John Gottney from Crook County, and it's John Ward from Curry County. I hope to see them tomorrow and ask them to remove that block and take a proper oath to a proper set of constitutions circa 1859. And I yield. Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. Got a short bit of information I'd like to bring you up to date on what's going on with the Marine Corps. The Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly is the provisional government on Oregon, lawfully and legitimately. All the paperwork's done, signed, sealed, stamped, witnessed, delivered, proof of service, published on our website, published on YouTube, published on Brighteon, and 3 television cable channels. We have done our due diligence. 5 years doing our due diligence. We are now at the confrontation stage. All the paperwork is done, and we will have a de jure form of government on Oregon. All of these persons will be people, and they will be with a proper oath to the proper constitutions, with God included. We have researched all that there is to research and do all that there is to be done to make this a smooth transition. We have 36 sheriffs without a proper oath. They have to have a proper oath or they cannot hold a position of trust. Now, most of the general public doesn't know any of the details. They say, I don't want to become involved in politics. So they're ignorant or they're stupid. And those people we can't do much about. But the few that will pay attention need to know that there is not one lawful, legitimate oath among all of the executive, legislative, or judiciary on Oregon, on any county, or in any municipality, or within the federal U.S. DOJ, U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Marine Corps, and the FBI on Oregon. Oregon is one of two states, Delaware and Oregon, that do not have any military on Oregon. We don't have forts or ports or camps or bases. It's unique. And we're the provisional government on Oregon. We went to the trouble to do all the work, to do the due diligence, to fulfill the requirements of, I love to read this, Cynthia does too. Article 1, Section 1. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, we did that, are equal in right, that all power is inherent to the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, and they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper. The bar attorneys that were running Oregon and those that affiliated with them, November 1910, did fraud upon the people in the form of Article 7 amended. And they did it and they got away with it for 113 years. It's been known and runs have been made at it to try and make it correct, and one by one and all, but it hasn't worked for 113 years. But it's not going to happen anymore. We will have proper oaths. We will have men and women doing their job, not as persons, but as body, mind, spirit, flesh, blood, soul. And we'll have it this year. And I yield. My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I'm bringing you an update on the United States Marine Corps. When you read the Constitution and you read the founding documents and you understand the history of what happened, the Marine Corps is a plank holder. They were there before we were there. In the Navy, if you're the first man aboard ship when the ship is built, you're a plank holder. It's a prestigious thing. And the Marine Corps, the United States Marine Corps, a division of the United States Navy, is responsible to Oregon, one of the several states, among the several states in the United States of America, the Confederation and Perpetual Union, that bunch. That's who we are. The Marine Corps has to have jurisdiction in all the areas where they are required to be. Nowadays, they're required to be in the United States of Washington, District of Columbia, Inc., which is a de facto form of government that has been operating under martial law on 32 states and 17 territories since March 1861. So, short of going Athens, Tennessee, 1946, which is a step, and it's a valid one, and it worked. Short of doing that, obtaining a proper oath and bond to a proper constitutions with God included, that seems like the next best step. To do that, we may need the help of the U.S. Marine Corps. Now, we requested that they provide us with assistance to deal with the enemies from within that we have on Oregon. Started November 8th, 1910. That outfit is almost all originated in bar attorneys and bankers and those in both the parties that are hangers on without a proper oath and doing business with the de facto because the de facto is there. The de facto cannot stand when the de jure is aware, and we are. There will be proper oaths. So, how good is our presentation to the Marine Corps? Did we make a proper one? Is it strong? Is it well presented? Well, we recorded it. We'll see if we can get pardon me, William, to put that up for us. Charlie did a great job. We're going to go tomorrow to see if the sheriffs will cooperate and do their job. Then we have to talk to the Marines some more, help them along. And I yield.
When referring to the First and Second Amendments of the United States of America's Constitution, free speech and the right to bear arms has somehow gotten twisted in the minds of the general public to be considered extreme conservatism. That very perception is the result of the intensive programming wrought on the people by those who choose politics over the United States of America's Constitution. Since when is upholding the original, the United States of America's Constitution have been increasingly trampled? Oh, and its Bill of Rights associated with extreme conservatism. These first two amendments to the Constitution have been increasingly trampled, increment by increment. A little bit here, a little more there. So here we are, decades and generations later, oblivious to the overreach and downright ignorance of this sacred document that has kept this nation as intact as it has prevailed, despite constant onslaughts.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up.
And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.